Okay. Hello everyone. Today we're going to learn about a little bit about Python debugger, which is also called as PDB, and this is the documentation of PDB. The main use of PDB is that you can halt the execution, program execution, and then you can step into that and get a lot of control. Um, or, control, and then you see the program execution step by step. So basically, you're trying to take control over the interpreter. So that is what PDB does. So I have a simple program which has a couple of functions. It doesn't have any logic inbuilt inside that. So I'm just printing them. So there are few functions: run, drink water, left turn, and right turn. And there's a function called as game on, which calls some of these functions. So right turn and left turn calls drink water. So this is just to show you how the stack frames look. Okay, so how do we invoke Python debugger? So from command line you can do this. Python -m stands for module, and then PDB is a module, and then your program. So once you enter that, so you can see that now we're in debugging mode. That means usually this program would have just run and printed all sorts of things. But here we have stopped at line number 1, and it is waiting to get some commands. So you can step through the code by there are a few commands by saying next. That means it goes to next line. There's a shortcut for this. N is shortcut for next. So it's at line number 1. It goes at line number 1, and now it's at line number 7. It is done with line number 4. And then if you step further, it goes to line number 11. That means it just works like a normal interpreter, but only thing is it's waiting for commands to be executed manually rather than automatically. So we are at line number 11, so let us get ahead. So we are at line number 15, and then let us get into the line where the program gets executed. So if I now again enter N, so it tells that I'm returning from the program execution. That means it has successfully run the program because we are calling the function here. So it prints all the print statements that we have defined inside this. Okay, so that is how you invoke Python debugger from the command line. So now you can also step into the functions as and when we call those functions inside those functions. So how do we do that? Is just step through each of them, and then sorry, I moved it faster. Let's do it again. Next, and then we can also list the lines of code by saying list, or by simply saying L. L is a shortcut for list. So it lists from few lines, and it shows also the execution place, or we can call this as an instruction pointer. So this pointer it tells that this is the function that I'm going to this is the instruction that I'm going to call in the next step. So in order to get into this function, there is a command called as step, which helps us to step inside the function. That means if you look at if you list the code, now we are at line number 15 at this place. We can jump into that and then execute line by line. So and we are at line number 16, line number 17, and things like that. And let us try to get into this function, which is a left turn. So in order to jump into this function, you just need to press S instead of step, which is a shortcut. So now we are inside left turn. How do we make sure that we are in left turn? So one is it tells where are we at line number 7, and next line, and we can now jump into drink water. Again, step. If you look at this, we are into our drink water function, and then we are at line number 5. And now we can look into stack frames as well. So that is by the command called as where. So it tells it prints the complete stack frame from where we started. So we are at currently we are at drink water. Drink water was called by left turn, and left turn was called by game on, and this particular main function, that is this module, was invoked by PDB. So that is why it tells that okay, this called this, and this called this, and this called this, and we're at drink water. So this is how you can list the stack frames. As you know that the function calls are stacked up inside the interpreter, and then it tries to unpack it, or when you return from the function, you remove the one of the stack frames. So let us try to move back to the previous stack frame. That is like I'm in the function called as drink water. I can move back to left turn. How do I do that? You can go up. Now I am in the stack frame drink water. Again move up, left turn, again one more stack frame. So I'm at the beginning of my execution. So this is how we can move up the stack frame. In fact, you can move down as well, and then you can list the stack frame again. So now you are at this place, so you can see the say small greater than symbol here, right? So you can move down, you can see this. All right, so when we do this, when we step and we are done with the function, so we are basically removing the stack frame from the stack. Now if you look at stack frame, we do not have one of this, so this is this has returned none, and if we do next and print it again, we are just returning stack frames one by one. So this is how you step into functions, and then you can look into the stack frames, and then you can analyze. In fact, you can do listing again, and then there is a command called as Args, which tells us what are the arguments passed into the functions that we are currently under execution. So we are under left turn, and left turn has args angle is equal to 90. So this is how you list the arguments and its values. And then you can also do do assignment. For example, you can set angle is equal to 100, and then you can step through the code so that you can modify the values and then see the behavior of the program. And then you can also jump to different lines of code. For example, I can jump into, so let me see, where am I? So I'm at line number 18. So let me jump to line number 16. So I can simply do jump and line number. So now I'm at line number 16. So I can from there I can again start executing the next statement by doing next or n. So I'm at 18 again now. So this is how you can jump back and forth the lines. And then what else do you have? You can also do continue, which I'll show once you put some breakpoints. You can also put some breakpoints. I'll show you how. So you can also invoke the Python debugger by um, importing it. Import pdb, and then you can also set some breakpoints. Breakpoints helps us to stop the program execution, and it waits for the programmer's commands to be entered. So for example, I can do something like this: pdb dot set trace. Set trace is a function. So this so let me try to run it. Python demo.py. So it runs through the program until it sees one of the breakpoints. So we have put the breakpoint at line number 11. So it's it has stopped at line number 11, and it tells that okay, next line that I'm going to execute is line number 12, which is a function called as drink water. Right. And then you can enter the commands as we did before. You can do long listing, which is double L, and then we can also step into the functions like this, and you can see the instruction pointer that is pointing to the instruction, which the command that is or the instruction that is going to be executed when you do next. All right. And also you can continue, which means you can simply ask the ask pdb to continue until the end of the function, not function but the program execution, or until the next breakpoint. So this is how we can continue it. Right, so what did we learn? We invoked it from command line, and then we set the breakpoints, and you can also simply set breakpoint by using this function called as breakpoint, which actually imports and sets the breakpoints internally. And then we did a next and continue, jumping through the lines of code, listing the code, stepping inside function, moving up and down with the stack frame, and we can quit the pdb using quit like this. So it just aborts the program and comes out of the execution. So these are the operations that you can do with the pdb, and this helps us to debug programs which might be having some kind of logical error, or you can set some variables and see the program behavior. So you can read about it in the documentation section, but this is how the basic Python debugger works, and these are the basic operations. Basically, it's like you're taking control over the interpreter. Right. Okay, thank you.